Hello once again and welcome back to your Grounded. Today we'll be looking at the best combat armor in the game, the Acorn set. One of the easiest armors to craft, it's also one of the best, so let me break that down for you. Should you like the video and learn something new, please hit that thumbs up button as it takes no time at all and it helps me out massively. You can also consider subscribing if you like in-depth statistical breakdown videos, as that's going to be the bulk of the content here on the channel. Let's take a look. First off, as always, we'll take a look at the base damage reduction of the Acorn set. Taking a one-handed strike from one of the Orb Weavers, we take 75% damage completely unarmored. What you're seeing here is my damage ruler, essentially 25 parts of one whole, and we can use each of these segments to measure 4% of anything we want. So equipping the armor set and taking the same hit only reduces our health by about 42%, which means that we've taken 33% less damage after equipping the set. For a set as cheap as this is an excellent benefit, and you should be wearing this whenever you're thinking about going into combat, and we're not even on the best part yet. So here we are at the set bonus. The set bonus is called Uncrackable, and the game simply states that you're a tough nut to crack. In this video we're going to work backwards in a sense. So what does Uncrackable not do? At first I thought this had to do with guarding and breaking or cracking your guard, but this wasn't the case, and I was convinced later on that it was a reduction in blocking chip damage by 50%, and I spent a whole evening in Photoshop proving something that I thought was true. I then started editing the video together the next day and found that I was completely wrong, and I felt pretty stupid. I had compared the damage of one attack across an unblocked unarmored hit, a blocked unarmored hit, an unblocked Acorn armor hit, and a blocked Acorn armor hit. I found that the difference between the block chip damage was 50%, and I was convinced that this is what the armor set did. Then I realised that I was comparing 0 armor to almost maximum armor, and of course armor is going to reduce the damage you take, and that's not even taking into account the max health bonus that was messing with the values that you get from the full Acorn set. So you can see a short demonstration to prove that the Acorn set does not reduce chip damage, as I've seen this on a few other posts on the internet such as the wiki for the game. Here you can see the Acorn set and the Spider set blocking the same exact amount of damage. I haven't counted the individual armor pips from the menu on all the pieces, but I'm confident in saying that they will have the same total value. If Acorn reduced the amount of damage blocked, this would look very different. You can also see that the Rotten Bee set and the Acorn set have virtually identical stats with the exception of one armor pip. This could be the discrepancy in the damage that you're seeing here, this 3% difference. Again, if the Acorn reduced block damage, then you would see a much greater difference than 3% between the Bee and the Acorn set, and this proves that Uncrackable does not reduce block damage. So I started again with my final suspicions of the one idea I had left. Acorns are really tough, right? They have these little acorn bits inside that you want to get to. So what if the armor was the shell and we were the acorn bits? If the shell was really tough to crack, it would mean that it would have to be durable, and then I thought of a spider trying to attack me to break open the acorn armor shell to get to the yummy fleshy human bit inside. That was my weird thought process anyway. So I present to you with concrete evidence that the Uncrackable set bonus is about armor durability. So here you can see me taking the same 3 hits completely unblocked with an Acorn armor set, which is tier 1, the Ant armor set, which is another tier 1 armor, and the Spider set, which is a tier 2 armor. Now I mentioned the armor tiers because at first I expected the higher, more expensive to repair armor tiers to be more durable. So I tested this, and as you can see by this comparison and the final conclusion, that the Ant set and the Spider set both take the same amount of durability damage by the same hit. Now, for proof purposes, you can see here that I've fully repaired all the armor before starting this test, and I always loaded from the same save. So here I am taking a closer look in Photoshop and matching the armor health bars as closely as possible by hiding and unhiding them. I could start to show you visually by marking them out with different colours how much was missing from each. So corresponding with their armor sets, we have the difference between the Acorn and a fully repaired armor set being shown in green, and we have the difference between the Acorn armor set and the Ant shown in brown, and same for the spider set, because as I mentioned before, the ant and the spider set both took the same amount of durability damage. On the very bottom I tried to accumulate this all together for you to make it easier to understand. You can see here that the Acorn armor takes about 50% less durability damage from the same hit than the other armor pieces in the game, regardless of their tier. Before we get to the conclusion, I have two little notes on the subject. I wondered if blocking reduced the strain on your armor. Simply put, it doesn't, and I hope that you'll just trust me on this. I can only make this video so long without boring people. Finally, the reason I only use the head durability bar as a comparison is because it seems that all attacks have a height hitbox, and these correlate to your armor pieces, so lower hitting ones will hit your leg armor pieces only, and higher ones will hit your head. From the same attack, they appeared that some pieces on the armor just wasn't being hit by the damage hitbox, and so the results were inconclusive. The only one that always got damaged was the head, and that's most likely because the Orb Weaver one-handed strike that I've been testing comes down from above. Right, next up is the armor perks, which thankfully is much easier to show. The game simply states increases the player's maximum health. Now this was a tricky one to test at first. How do you test the difference in health between armor sets if all the armor sets have different armor values and therefore different damage reductions? I had to find a source of damage that was consistent, that wasn't affected by an armor rating. And finally, I stumbled across the gas arrows. Here you can see, for the same test, I loaded the same save 3 times and fired the gas arrow at my feet at every instance. With both the spider set and no armor set equipped at all, I was left with the same amount of health, which is about 4%. Now with the Acorn set equipped, I was left with much more. Using the ever so useful damage ruler, we can see that the remaining HP with the Acorn set equipped is around 25%, so that's an increase of about 20%, allowing for human error, rounding or trunication. The game engine is already doing. Rounding is just shortening the number by either adding one or taking one away depending on the number that follows it. Truncation or trunication is slightly different. This is when the system doesn't care what number follows the number in question, it's just cut off. If you could give the system instructions to only hold 2 numbers after the decimal point, it will do so. It won't care how close that number is to the next number. It could be 9.999 and it would still be considered a 9. And finally, we are done. In conclusion, the Acorn armor set increases the lifespan of your armor by 50%, resulting in less repairs, and it also increases your HP by 20%. Now I have 2 bonus findings for you that I came across during my investigation of this armor set. First off, if the difficulty and the damage of an attack is low enough, this clip is on mild by the way, you will straight up receive no damage from attack, like none at all. This is important as it confirms that there is no damage reduction cap currently in the game, at least not on mild. I don't think we'd have a high enough damage resistance top tier armor to block 100% damage on Woe, as that would probably ruin the whole point of the game mode. Next up is a clip from my mistaken investigation into Acorn chip damage reduction. Here you can see that the worker ant bites me and kills me in about 4 measly bites, completely unarmoured on Woe difficulty. By putting on the Acorn armour, in combination with its health and its armour bonuses, we survive almost 7 times the damage that previously killed us, and I was pretty gobsmacked by this. The attacks you see me parrying are just the delayed lunges, and of course they have different damage values, and that would make the test completely unbiased if they'd have landed at least one. And there we are. Now this set took me over a week to finish. With the mistakes, the investigation, the editing and so forth. This has by far been the hardest video I've made, but I've enjoyed every minute, and thank you very much for sticking with me throughout. Please do leave a positive rating if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks again for stopping by, and take care guys.